Hi, and welcome back to the show. Yes, and Mark is still, I've kept him back. He wanted to leave us and now the door's locked.
I'm happy to be here.
The Self-Mastery Chef. We've gone to, if you've missed it, go back and watch the other segments we've done on this. But I really want to get to the stage. I know there's a lot of people now be going, look, this could be really good in our lives. You know, they feel like they may be in a rut or they're just stuck. Some people just go, look, I know what I want. I just don't know how to do it. You know, we haven't had that experience that you talked about before. Maybe as they've got the knowledge. How do you work with people? What is this passion and how does it actually start to manifest itself for families?
Yeah, so right now, my goal, forgive me, my mission statement actually, is for every family in the world to have access to current credible health education, enabling a life of rich in longevity, freedom, connection and love. So how I envision that is an online curriculum where families can homeschool from anywhere. Now that's a 1,000, 10,000, 50,000 year plan, right? That's long after I'm gone as well. So that's my legacy that I want to give to the world. Where I'm at, so that's going to take a long time building out, and a lot of friends in high places that know more than me that we can put into this. But there's 7 areas of life that I think we all want to try and master. And in my programmes, different tiers, depends on how many of them we go after. But first and foremost, just now, I'm working with the parents whilst I'm, because we spend a lot of our life as adults worrying about the children, but we're actually spend our whole life trying to go back to that brainwave and heart coherent state. So typically in the first 7-8 years of life, there's some things happen to us that we're completely unaware of if we try to look back at, and it gets locked in the subconscious brain because our brain is forming over. Excuse me. So by the time we get to 85% of the neural pathways in the brain are shut. By the time we get to 35, 100% of them are shut. So by the time we get to 35, we're living in a 90% subconscious reality. Okay, but new neuroscience actually shows that we can break that open at any given point through thought alone. So I've got a process that I've designed called the neutralization process, where we find out what happened in the earlier parts, and I'm developing it every time. There's some past life stuff that's in there as well, because I don't believe when we die that's it. I believe we just change form. So with that philosophy, it would be wise to see that we've been here before as well. And every time we come back, we're just here with a new set of lessons to learn. So we look at early childhood and we look at other things, what's most appropriate, and we find that point and we neutralise it. So it's as if we're looking over here at this camera for 30, 40, 50 years when we could have panned over there as well. And then all of a sudden you have a choice, and it's as if someone gives you new eyes that you just go, wham. Now everything energetically in the world is connected by life moments and threads and layers of self. There's the 5 layers of self, and everything has threads. This is my amazing mentor, Sandra. I need to put that out there, that's not my term. So Sandra Junkerstoff of Flip 180 Life. And there's threads and layers across the 5 layers of self, and we're all connected by life moments with these threads, and some of which aren't even ours. But when we find the very beginning of that, and we can neutralise that, because everything from the macroscopic to the microscopic universe, so even at ours at a subatomic cellular level, there's a positive and a negative. But if we're living a life this one way, where we think life's against us, you're actually missing the opportunity where it's showing you that you can actually be living life in your terms. So once we find that beginning and we neutralise that, synchronistically at the exact same time, every life moment that's attached to that dissipates.
When you take people on a journey like that, Mark, do you find there's resistance to start off?
Yeah, of course.
I've got to ask, because it would seem that people would just go, you're blowing my mind, you're just taking me somewhere I've never even gone.
As humans, like, we're very reactive, and typically we're motivated by pain and pleasure. So when it becomes intolerable, all of a sudden we take action. Right? We go, what did I eat there? Oh, that's a little bit sore. And then you go, you start eating something that's shooting through, and before you know it, then you wake, oh God, in the middle of the night, it's giving you pain, and then of course the tooth falls out. I better book a dentist appointment. But it's been telling you for 4 months. And nutrition, because it's so big in what I do as well, there's different constitutions of the body. So for me, like, I can eat bread and if it's got gluten in it, within 2 minutes of digesting it, I know I shouldn't have ate it. I'm blowing. It doesn't agree with my constitution. But some people can go through pretty poor nutritional choices, thinking they're getting away with it because they've got a strong constitution. But then, 20 years down the line, bang, stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
And if they're not open to the other two sides of the Holy Trinity, and they're going down chemo and radiotherapy, they're putting more pressure on the body. And that's not anything against that. That might be the route for people to take. There's no judgment here. But I'm saying, with stage 4, we're really at dire straits with limited options, and that longevity that I want to give families is cut drastically short.
Yeah.
So for people, I don't get emotionally attached to whether they're ready or not. We just do what we're doing right now. We just have a conversation, and I just ask them where they're at and where they would like to be from a feelings based. And when the pain of staying the same, when the pain of change becomes greater than the pain of staying the same, then all of a sudden they go, do you know what, let's go for this here. But the brain's primary job is to keep us safe. Yeah. So as soon as there's something new and unknown, no, I'm out of here. Yeah. And then we start living in our head. But Tony Robbins says that if you're in your head, you're dead. So
yeah, exactly. What are the types of people who come to you? What do they come? What do you really think they're coming for? Yeah,
for that inner knowing, or that trying to get that wisdom and just lock it into everyday knowledge in the brain, because they know that something's not quite right, but they can't quite put their finger on it. Yeah. They know that they're here for something bigger. Maybe the marriage is broken down, maybe they're ready to go bankrupt, maybe a family member's get sick, maybe they've been sick themselves. There's a lot of kind of mental and emotional unrest where the heart and the head isn't aligned. I call it wrestling with Triple H. He's a famous wrestler, but it's the heart, the head and the heavens. And when you've got those three aligned, you no longer need to live in a physical hell. So yeah, there's a lot of people that's resistant to that, and they go, how do I do that? But it's usually when there's some tragedy in their life that they just go, right, something needs to shift. But it's typically mentally they're anxious, depressed, overwhelmed, sometimes borderline suicidal, sometimes actually suicidal, and maybe they've come through like a relationship breakup, or maybe there's been some grief, maybe a family member's passed, but they know they're stuck in their head. And typically it's parents that are starting to see that the kids are mirroring back their behaviour, their negative behaviour, and they just have that moment. They go, if I don't sort this now, my son or daughter's destined to live this out, and I don't want that guilt, I don't want them having that pain. That's probably the most common one just now.
At the moment where you're at now, and you said you've got this 30, 40, 50,000 year plan, which I absolutely love the idea of. Where is it now for Self-Mastery Chef? What is it now you're actually manifesting out there and allowing people to access? Yeah,
so there's that online curriculum's a dream. Yeah. So yeah, I've got in my
you
head,
put it out there, it happens.
Yeah, well, I've already got in my head what's going to be happening over the next 3-5 years, but in two weeks from filming today, 8th and 9th of September here in Perth, I've actually got a physical embodiment of this dream. Right. So it's an event called Nexus, which just is the connection of 2 points, so the head and the heart. Yep. Okay, our family, our mum and dad, our parents and the kids, really. So I'm bringing families together for that, and I've got some of the best minds in the world speaking at it. Some of them that are really high up authoritative figures that I've studied under, some that I would love to study under, that are already masters of specific areas within that curriculum that I've got. So I'm bringing them over to speak at that. But the big thing for me is I'm flying my mum and father over. So my dad, he was a principal, as I've touched on, and he actually got demoted when I was growing up. And this is a big reason why I'm doing it. I hope I'm not going to get emotional here. If I do, it's okay, guys, that's okay. But I watched him berate himself for the majority of my teen years when he got demoted from head teacher to class teacher. And he just felt, I grew up at that point, and it was a very pivotal time. I was looking for me and my dad to connect, and we connected through football, and I got a bad injury and I gave it up. But that's all I could think of. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Here we go. Dad's ringing.
Meditation time.
This is what happens when you go live.
But I grew up thinking my dad hated me.
Yes.
But he hated himself because he thought he'd let me, my sister and my mum down. And he got back on top and he retired he retired at the top, and he's taught me so much within that. I don't want to rob the story over there, but I went, you know what, it's time for me to become the teacher, my dad to be the student, and him to see what I've created. But I've got all these amazing people coming that it's brilliant, Tyler Tolman, and I said, yeah, all these like really international names, but I'm going, there's only one international star. I actually had this conversation with him. I had a meditation on the beach and I came out with tears streaming down my face, like inspiration. I'm going, Jesus, this is what I need to do. Who do I trust more to help me build this curriculum? My father, and he's retired now. And then it wasn't even that. I went, oh God, he needs to come and speak. So I went on the phone and I said, Dad, I'd love to be a fly in the wall when people are asking, how's Mark getting on in Australia? What does he do? I said, I don't think you actually know. He said, oh, tell me. And I told him, he was like, oh, that's amazing. So I said, I think so. I said, but listen, he said, is that what your Nexus is all about? I said, yeah, it's the 2-day embodiment of that online dream for the families. He's like, okay. And I said, right, there's only one international speaker I want to share the stage with, Dad. Who's that? And I said, well, you're either getting old or you're hamming this up. And I think it's the second one. And he's like, who, me? And I said, yeah, you. I said, how can I talk about connecting families to true health and wellness if I don't do it with my own? So my father's coming over, I'm having my mum in the front row looking up at us and just knowing that everything is as it should be.
That is amazing. So, Mark, what do you think, or what's your hope that people will walk away from Nexus with?
Just a framework that they can punch into to really connect the head and the heart, and they don't need to suffer, they don't need to exist. They can create the dream reality that they want. They just need to have the courage to locate the fears, find the values, work with me, we'll get a vision, and we'll just take steps to get there. And there's a lot, everything's back. This sounds a bit woo-woo because we're just talking casual, but everything's back. But universal laws, principles, quantum physics, neuroscience, nutritional genetics.
We'll put a link underneath to the show. So, but if someone misses it for whatever reason, what's the best way they can actually contact yourself, Mark?
Yeah, Facebook is usually quite big for me. A lot of people give me inquiries through that. But yeah, all of my programs is online, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world. I would love to work with you.
So they can connect with you on Facebook, probably the best one?
Facebook's probably the best way, that's when I get most traffic.
Self-Mastery Chef?
Yeah, Self-Mastery Chef. Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you, Mark.
Thank you,
it's been really, really interesting. And we'll have to get Mark back on again. Mate, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, mate.